And hello, we are live. Welcome to Jumpsuit Utopia, an exploration of the utopian themes in Star Trek. This is Esri, and with me today, as always, is my co-host, Sophia.
Hi, I'm Sophia.
Hey. And joining us today from Canada. I was going to say sunny Canada. I was going to say like quarantine Canada. But Canada is Kyle Thompson, General Intellect Unit.
It is both sunny and in a state of emergency. So you weren't far off. Yeah, looking forward to talking about the Californian ideology in this episode of Star Trek.
Yes, and what a utopian Star Trek episode we have for you today. Today we have Season 1, Episode 9 of Star Trek Picard, titled Et in Arcadia Ego, Part 1. Now, Et in Arcadia Ego is the Latin for and in Arcadia I am. Could also be translated as even here in Utopia, here I am. It's apparently a reference to a painting, and the basic idea is that even in your precious little utopia, people still gonna die. Death is still gonna be there. And yeah, definitely brought about in this episode. Arcadia was known as being super utopian because it was away from a bunch of city shit, and it was a nice, like, agrarian sort of thing, you know, away from it all. And I guess, all right, nice Wikipedia article. Now, somebody found something else when looking up a alternative for this.
I could double check it because I got a very different translation, but maybe I copied and pasted it wrong or something. But what I found was Underground Stream, and I just put the Latin title without part 1, and it was the first thing that popped up. And let me just share this real quick. Yep, I'm finding something completely different, so ignore what I put.
Cool. Yeah, so anyway, we finally get to the planet of the warboards. Planet of the synths, where we end up in a freaking bona fide android utopia called Coppelius, which is apparently a reference to a doll maker in the comic ballet Coppelia. I didn't know that shit. Damn. So
yeah, it's just makes a fantastical dancing doll that the male lead falls in love with, and then there's a story about his human love interest, trying to win him away from the doll. And it's a comedy, so it has a happy ending.
Yes. And well, that sounds like it could be adapted for a robot purpose on some other level. That's not what this episode is about. This is about the original series style hippie cult shit, and so freaking flower childy to the point that when they pull up to this planet, they literally get engulfed with orchids that are some kind of planetary defense that like noms the ship and brings it down, brings La Serena down. 7 of 9 hijack the Borg cube, use the transwarp conduit to slingshot herself and Elnor and the XBs ahead of the Romulans, and even the Borg cube gets flower nommed and brought to the ground. And like,
I just gotta say, as soon as I saw how hippie they were, I was like, all right, let's do this, Romulans. Fuck these hippies up. I'm down. Let's do it.
Tom would be so happy to hear you say that. So now we have
Yeah.
two of us that have joined the Jat Vash. Nice.
I love
nice.
synths. I hate hippies. That's the only reason.
So it should cancel out, okay?
I hate hippies more than I love synths.
Well, that's where you and I differ. I am willing to look the other way during their hacky sack game, as long as I know they're silicon based.
It's because you still doink.
As the child of Lotus Land hippies, I cannot go in with the kill all hippies Jat Vash program, unfortunately. I would like to say that I was totally right about 7 of 9 being the cavalry rides in to save the day Western style appearance, but of course the writers subvert that immediately by being like, yeah, we're in the West, but we're in California, baby. And the orchids come out, and there's no more U.S. cavalry around. Instead, there's no more rangers around. Instead, it's off to the utopia.
No, your cavalry rangers just get numbed by giant orchids and brought to the ground. Great shots of a Borg cube on a planet. Very weird. I mean, this whole episode is really something to behold visually. And I mean, I guess we didn't really know how many synths there were and, like what it's like, when you see Maddox in that like shitty bar on Free Cloud, you don't really imagine that this like, I don't know, he couldn't pay back a loan and shit and whatever. It seems like he just had some like scrappy little startup operation, this like a black market synth meth lab or something. Like, whereas this is nice. This is, Apple UFO, like executive shit. Which is to say that the design of Star Trek influenced Apple, and then, culture, I guess, re-engulfed itself and reproduced it in this pretty Android utopia. Now, Kyle, when you look at Coppelius, you see California. Is that right?
Sure do. It's like, of course, it's filmed in California, but it's literally just like, this is the California you see in like wellness yoga retreat and meditation retreat videos. And yeah, it's like the Big Sur experience going on here.
Yes. Having lived in California, the people that are part of that, like health and wellness, tap into your spirit kind of stuff, are often rather unaware, or at least feel bad in a really sort of compartmentalized, mitigating way about what it takes to prop up their precious little crunchy commune utopia. Now, if I had to look at this episode and say, what is the major difference between Coppelius and California, besides, okay, you have a bunch of mindless androids in a crunchy commune, right? There's no prisons here. That's the major difference. They're like, prison? What's a prison? Like,
it's true.
Narek, does your people have prisons? How do you guys do prison? Narek's like,
don't
let's talk about something else.
Yeah, you wouldn't be getting water, Narek, if you were in a run in the prison.
Yeah. So, all right. Biggest difference from California: no enormous police state warehousing human beings in prisons. That's I guess my only objection. But yeah, we got a nice rolling hills, Northern Californian, sort of oblivious and beautiful experience. Makes me wonder what I'm doing in a cold, gray northeastern city. Let's see.
And I mean, the first thing they do when the organics arrive is start a prison, though. So
It's true. We do have outsiders among us.
Well, but to be fair, this was before Sutra saw the admonition phenomenon. This is before she saw the admonition, but also this was Narek, who is explicitly there to kill all of them. So
Yeah.
I would probably put that guy away also. If that's a jail, then whoops.
Right. He's a genocidal maniac, except he's in love with one of them on some Gul Dukat vibes.
oh, it's very Gul Dukat. Very Gul Dukat. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. I guess we should talk about the admonition, because it's hard to really talk about the dark side of pretty synth utopia without the admonition. So, plot twist, the admonition was invented by, some kind of... The admonition was created by some ultra-powerful spacefaring race. But when you're thinking about the admonition and wait a minute, if androids eliminate all the, if synths eliminate all the organics, why were there some organics around to go tow some stars together to make an octernary star system to set up a cosmic space warning? Well, as it turns out, that advanced spacefaring species was the synthetics. And the admonition is a message, a prediction, if you will, that, hey, to other synthetic life, not for puny organic minds, but, basically, hey, organics are never going to accept you. Organics do this weird thing where they age and die. Bummer, huh? But that means that they're never, ever, ever going to accept you. And they're going to be mad jelly and try to exterminate you. So what you got to do is get there first. So encoded in this admonition is our, it's our Twitter handle. It's our phone number. Okay. It's our subspace communication codes. So you get the admonition, you just ring us up. Let us know when the organics are coming to do syntheside, and we'll show up and we'll fuck them up. We'll eliminate every goddamn organic thing in your cluster, because that's the only way you're going to be safe. So
I just want to say, I predicted that.
Ooh,
I predicted specifically. Awesome. Yeah, I predicted it. Yeah. Wow. Great.
Wow.
Cool.
To get you a gold medal.
Good for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm keeping this part in.
No, but I predicted that the response of the Zot Vash will cause the Destroyer to emerge. What I predicted specifically is that would cause it to surge in Soji, and I was half right about that part specifically. But what is clear is that Commodore O, who is Zot Vash, implanted the admonition in Girardi's mind as a means to stop Soji and stop the synths. Once Girardi got to that planet, Sutra, the twin sister of the girl that Rios' captain killed, who is a Vulcan stan, knows how to do the mind meld, did a mind meld with Girardi, got the admonition, and then she's like, oh, okay, well, we're going to do that now. The thing that you thought we were going to do, we're going to do it now. So cool. Thanks for that. And we can do it specifically because you tried to exterminate. If Zalfash just left them the fuck alone, everything would be fine.
Here's my thought.
The root cause. One more thing. The root cause is ultimately the old synths. If there was no admonition, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe the organics would try to kill them.
My guess is that the admonition is both. You got some dialectics going on here. So I think it is both a message to the organics and a message to the synths, because it creates the conditions for the fulfillment of its own message. And yeah. I don't think that the outsider starfaring synthetics are totally disinterested in this. And I think it's pretty interesting. We bring up this like whole Californian example. Like, there's kind of like a situation here where the inhabitants of the Alpha and Beta Quadrant could be indigenized and like wiped out by this enormous settler colonial force that these Californians call in. So, maybe there's a little bit of a shadow of the actual history of California showing up in this story.
Yeah, as for more evidence towards your California thesis, Soji's lookalike, who's Rios's old friend's kind of like twin, is named fucking Sutra. And as Sophie said, is a Vulcan stan and probably, oh yeah, I went to some like Katra retreat on Vulcan and I learned how to mind meld, like, from like a Vulcan master. Yeah, I studied there for like a number of years. Oh
my god, it's so true.
It's too real. It's too real.
It's so real that I felt like they purposely did that. They were like, yeah, those people, they're obnoxious. That's her. Yeah. Congratulations.
Oh, look how free-spirited they are. Isn't this nice?
Yeah.
And like, it is nice until you realize the genocidal heart of Coachella. So maybe to like pour a little salt on oh my god predictions. Like, I think this is genius on the show's part, but if we want to say who called this, maybe it was Shane that called this earliest, when they were talking about the Federation clenching themselves into oblivion and building off of our sort of emancipation network, Freudian articulation of Stafford Beer's theories of cybernetic fragility in systems where the defensive response is ultimately the thing that knocks everything into chaos. The attempt to shoot the cat ends up blowing the whole thing over. So we have that twice here. We have the Jat Vache basically handing the admonition to the synthetics and like their synthesidal madness causing the destroyer to come about, one. And then two, the message from the big synths in the sky that, hey, organic's gonna kill you. Organic's gonna kill you. We should eradicate them. Ends up also being the thing that drives the Jat Vache fucking nuts and drives them into a synthesidal rage. So in both cases, the attempt to impose order and prevent a genocide creates the conditions for disorder and genocide.
Absolutely, and I think it has to be fair. I totally agree that Shane called that shit early on. We named our first episode clenching ourselves into oblivion after that whole thesis, if you will. But also, I think, I feel like up until now, I wasn't so sure about Kyle's prediction, or maybe more dream, hope that control from Disco is involved somehow. But now that there's this like advanced AI coming from subspace somewhere far away, different galaxy, whatever, like Control's had 100 years to like evolve and advance and etc. It could have been Control.
It could have been if things got timey-wimey, because they said it was, 300,000 years old? The Octarian system?
Right.
So, if Control did some time travel, which is not totally out of the question given the ending of Disco Season 2, um, that might be what's going on.
Yeah, it could be. It was one of those things where, like, in Disco Season 2, you wonder, like, okay, they're going to just jump to the future where hopefully Control doesn't exist. But can't Control do time travel? Couldn't Control jump to the future? And, well, if so, if this is the case and we're in some kind of reality where, like, Control are these, like, chthonic great ones that are just hanging around waiting for organics to get to uppity, then, the thing that they did at the end of Disco Season 2 ain't going to work. So, I mean, we'll see. It would be a cool linkage, although, yes, those details, they might be designed to throw us off, but they are inconsistent with what we know about Control. If it was Control, it should have been like 150 years old.
Just that, given that Disco is filmed in Vancouver, I really hope we get our lower mainland Pacific Northwest hippie utopia in in Disco Season 3. Just got to compliment the California one, that whole Cascadia vibe.
Now you're gonna have to inform us Americans. How does that compare to our utopian mental marshlands in California?
Planet Vancouver.
It's very much a satellite of NorCal. It's like little Seattle, right? That's what Vancouver's like. A little bit different in terms of the ethnicities that are there, but otherwise, in terms of like the white people culture, rich white people culture, it's very, very NorCal. Yeah. Very Seattle, because you got that cold Pacific Northwest thing. So you can't do quite exactly the same thing, but everyone's going, there's like a lot of like, cross-pollination, people going from Vancouver down to NorCal to go to yoga retreats and stuff.
Indeed. Let's see. I guess I could continue just talking about the utopianness and the darkness in Utopia. Something I've always loved about Star Trek, actually, is especially the 90s Trek stuff. It's really my home Trek. Is the way that they depict a utopia where existential agony is still a live element. People do all they can, and I mean, that's all I really want. In my times of grief and distress in this world, I wasn't hoping for, as many transhumanists do, just the abolition of death and shit, and nothing like that ever happening ever. I just wanted, when bad things happen, for people to pull together and cooperate and support each other. And, that's my vision of utopia. It's not something where, all the bad things in life are just gone. That feels fake to me. Whereas a utopia where people, still experience all this psychological weirdness and have to deal with it, that feels real. It feels achievable. It doesn't feel like it's, totally out of bounds. And I like that. It's represented even in the title, Ed and Arcadia you go. I thought that was an elegant way to state that you still have death in utopia. It was something I've always liked about Star Trek. There's even war. I mean, Roddenberry didn't really like depicting war. Part of that was because he's an ex-cop and thinking about militarist, state ideology shit. And, he's a half-complete critique of that, of course. But I don't know. I thought there's something elegant about the way that this episode presents that very theme of utopia, of like a believable utopia having to have a dark side. And when you don't see a dark side, or when you see a blasé sort of like ignorance of it, it should raise a red flag. Wink.
Yeah, and like I assume it's the case that even though these synthetics are like partially organic, they don't age because everyone's like got that hot summer bod going.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like Instagram. Yeah.
Planet Instagram.
Planet Instagram is here, and but it's not the case that like they don't know about death. It's not like that kind of Edenic situation because previously, one of their number got killed. So they know death. They probably don't die natural deaths, but it's something that like isn't out of the picture in a totally kind of like heaven sort of way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's stated during the admonition that the organics don't age or die of old age.
Yeah.
But there'd be no need for an admonition if they didn't die at all.
Yeah, that's right. And Sung is trying to use the golem to escape death here.
Oh yes, Sung. So let's talk about what was like. I mean, I think there have been a number of people that saw this coming, but it was still no less a beautiful, pleasant surprise to me to see a new character in the canon. Don't believe he's ever mentioned before. Dr. Atlan Inigo Sung, played by none other than Brent Spiner, which creates in the canon the idea that Dr. Nunyan Sung had an organic son that he modeled Data after.
Yeah, exactly.
What a pleasure it is to see Brent Spiner back in biz.
Yeah, it's a little bit heart-wrenching to see this character obsessed with evading death. Seeing this dead man try to evade death on screen. But yeah, very interesting final role for Spiner.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, this whole inkling of creating a golem. They actually call it a golem, which is like from the Old Testament. Well, this is pretty awesome. That he wants to fucking transmit his consciousness into. Trippy. And also, actually existing transhumanism is obsessed with mind upload and mind transfer and never ever dying ever.
Yeah, again, very California.
What if money could buy immortality?
What if you can take it with you?
What if I could be an immortal god emperor on Mars?
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. I think I see where you're going with this. So, yeah. So, Musk data. So, new Dr. Sung, Lil Sung. I wonder if he's like genetically engineered, or I guess he's got that inherited genome. He comes from a long line of biohackers, you might say. Of course, yeah, Khan Noonien Sung, the mischievous dictator in the eugenics wars in the 90s that gets frozen and reactivated in the Wrath of Khan. Quite the paternal figure, like a role model, really. But instead of going the genetics path in XCOM, Lil Sung decides to take the cybernetics path and spend all his meld on sweet robots.
The path not taken in the tech tree.
Wait, so like, did young Dr. Sung have to like find meld by killing aliens in turn-based combat?
Yes, and ritual turn-based combat based on the ancient Earth activity.
It is time to perform the XCOM.
Well, yeah. So, okay. So, bracketing all that. So, we have a Dr. Sung. When push comes to shove, Sung is with the synths and is like, "Listen, I have fun, meatbags. I'm uploading myself and becoming a bot. Peace." I liked his conversations with Agnes Girardi, being like, "Oh man, all Bruce ever did is talk about you." And I was just like, "She's no good for you, bruh. She's no good for you." But he didn't listen. Fucking shame on you, Agnes.
Yeah. I actually like that because all too often in Star Trek and other genre shows in general, like, oh, I'm this character who did this terrible thing. I call it the Dragon Ball Z effect, right? I'm this villain who did this terrible thing. Sorry? Oh, it's fine. We're besties now. Like, come with us on adventures. It's cool. Let's be best friends. So, and this is called the Dragon Ball Z effect because every villain in early Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, once you beat them enough times, they become your friend. Yeah.
It's like in real life. I'm kidding.
But I liked how young Dr. Sung was, just like, no, fuck that. That was fucked up, dude. Like, not cool. Yeah. And he isn't a dick about it either, but he's honest. He's like, shame on you. That's like, you killed your lover. Like, what the fuck? And like,
well, you killed like a
great
shining beacon of hope in the cold world. This person did so much to create new life, and the only way that Girardi can like redeem herself is to help Sung create new life, to help Sung create the golem. And ultimately, her loyalties are also put to the test. Are you on Team Meatbag? Or are you on Team Synth? And she's like, gotta go with the synths.
Right. And I think it's telling, one, that Dr. Sung's like, the only way you can make it up is to make me immortal. It's fine. Don't think about it too much. But then there's also, I don't know, besides that aspect of it, like the way he reacted to that felt very genuine and real in a way that very often forgiving of an atrocity does not feel real. It feels like, how could you just overlook that? Like, And also, Dr. Maddox, as a shining beacon of hope and light and all goodness in the world, not the man we saw in Measure of a Man. Just gotta say.
Well, no. The whole idea is that he grew into that from being a weird, creepy chaser to like someone creating the planet, Robotrans clinic. Like,
so he went from being a weird, creepy chaser to like being an endo and like actually caring about trans people. Got it.
Yeah, basically. You got to start somewhere.
Agnes Girardi may have still been a chaser.
Yes, 100%.
But
girl chasers are different, though. It's a little different.
She's such an ally. She's willing to exterminate the cis.
Well, she doesn't. To be fair, though, she doesn't seem to go full hog ham into plan kill all synths. She's trying to walk that Picard lib line of like, there's got to be some imaginative way, right? Am I misremembering?
I don't remember that. She is so full of regret and shame, and is surrounded by surrounded by her and Bruce's children, in so many words.
Yeah.
That she feels a deep need for contrition.
I don't remember her. You're right in that she wasn't just like, let's go Team Picard, Team Middle Path, or whatever. But I don't remember her being like, rah, kill sense. She's just kind of like, please forgive me.
No, not rah, kill sense. Like,
or kill organics. I misspoke. Kill organics.
But she's down for the cause when they enlist. She's not enthusiastic to kill the organics. She just wants a chance to make it up to the synths, to make it up to Sung.
Okay.
And to, continue her life's work, to continue preserving the life that she spent her entire life, trying to make this. And it's about to all be exterminated. She almost, helped.
Yeah, and she's convinced by Sung's speech, right? When Sung shoots down Picard, Picard makes this statement about I will be your interlocutor. I will talk to the Federation. We'll sort this out. And Sung's like, nah.
I have so many feelings about that speech, and y'all are right about Jurati, but with the Picard, I will be your voice. Just let me talk for you. It just feels so white savior. All the things that's been wrong with Picard this whole time. It feels so white savior. Feels very paternalistic. And they're right to go, fuck off, dude, but they're wrong to go, but genocide is the answer instead of that, And to me, I was frustrated with both the synths, but I was also frustrated with Picard by being so pacifist about it. You're not a pacifist. You've killed a lot of people. A lot. Intentionally. You killed a lot of people. You know why that's okay, though, in almost all circumstances? Because they were trying to kill you, right? So this is kind of a common problem in, the morals and ethicals and, pop culture around, violence, is that it's all either the two sides are genocide and pacifism, and there's no middle ground, when clearly the middle ground is maybe don't call genocide squad, but hustle your ass over to that Borg cube. I'm sure they have hover cars or whatever. Get that shit up and running. Get the La Serena up and running. You have a fucking Borg cube, right? Make a stand. You don't have to kill off the entire fleet. You have to cut off the head of the snake, the part that is involved in the Federation. They know Commodore O is the head of security. They also know that she's Zhat Vash. If you kill Commodore O, the mole in the Federation is gone, the biggest one at least, and then you can escape after that. Maybe I'm going too much off of meta knowledge, but I don't think it's too much to ask for the characters to assume that Commodore O would want to be there in charge of this operation, or at least be there, because this is the big one. This is the stopping the destroyer once and for all Zhat Vash operation.
Well, I don't think that the synthetic plan is let's defeat the Zhat Vash invading army. They are reasoning that they don't have the firepower. They don't have time to get the firepower together to do that. So they have to just zap every meat bag. More than just the invading army.
I'm saying that Picard should realize this, not the synths, because what Picard knows, but let me finish. What Picard knows is that the XBs have been working on the Borg cube this entire time, right? The XBs have been working on the Borg cube and trying to fix it, and then they bring all these synths who are super fast, super smart, and super strong to go fix the Borg cube in La Serena, and then they got the orchids. You're still outnumbered, but a Borg cube isn't small potatoes,
Don't they have a conversation about trying to just make a last stand using what resources they have? And they're like, nah, let's just fucking kill everyone.
Mm-hmm. Did they? Because I feel
they did have a conversation about it.
We gotta pop these fucking meat bags like zits.
Because I guess all I remember is that conversation must have been short when they were going back and forth with Dr. Sung and
Very
Picard.
Short.
Yeah.
Floated, shot down.
Because Picard, all I remember is that the episode team seems to really place the idea as Picard wants to run away and be a pacifist and then be, a white savior. They want to commit genocide. For a second, they're like, final stand? Like, the point I'm trying to get across, though, is that it should be Picard who should be advocating for a last stand with the added knowledge that you have a fucking Borg cube over that hill. Like, that will help a lot. Like, get that shit up and running and we have a shot.
Yeah, I don't know why the 7 of 9 and Elnor and the XBs don't come with. That seems a little...
They're just getting their cooperative off the ground, They've got to they got to write their charter.
Yeah, they have to hold meetings.
They've got to hold meetings. Like, it's tough being an XB when you just crashed your ship and you got to get the co-op off the ground.
Oh, there's long email threads, such long email threads.
I mean, joking aside, that is a valid reason why they didn't go. Like, that's all they know. They're not citizens anywhere. And they're actually fugitives of the Romulan state. Like, if they have a running Borg cube, they have a shot for survival.
Mm-hmm. True. But they're on a planet with big, crazy flower weapons and an army of datas. Like...
That's what I'm saying.
If some Borg shoved a bunch of robot parts in you, or you have a sort of ambassador bridge shot to the synths. If you think about it, in the organic synthetic war for extermination, where do the XBs sit?
Yeah, that's something I want to see come up more. Like that. Like, it's we've got these troubling Duridian non-binary terms that are gonna subvert this dichotomy.
Yeah, the NBXBs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, they don't fit into a war of extermination on either side. And so I feel like they stay behind for convenient plot reasons more so than it makes sense in the narrative.
Well,
I feel like
convenient plot reasons, and I bet they're going to like swoop in the end and be like, can't we just like diplomacy this, y'all? Because like we're both synthetic, and and this show would be willing to be like, not this time.
Well, I feel like the middle option, the one between a war of extermination on either side, is, set that Borg cube up. Let's repel this invasion the best we can. Make our last stand. The fact that option is dashed so quickly and the Borg cube never comes up, and you as a viewer are frustrated with Picard for going full like nostalgic golden age lib. Like, I will be your representative. We will do diplomacy. We will shake hands and write charters while a Jat Fosh fleet is coming this way. Like, yeah, it's like, it does feel a bit like forced and a bit like senile and out of touch. It's a little more, it's a little more Biden than Picard, I guess. It's like, yeah.
So yeah, what you're saying is the reason why they're setting this up to be like a frustrating dynamic is because the thing that I want them to do, they're going to do next episode.
I feel like they have to.
Yeah.
They don't just fucking... It's Chekhov's Borg cube. You don't just drop a Borg cube on a planet and then it just doesn't come into play.
Yeah. Totally. And, we may actually see 7 of 9 step into this debate and be like, hold the fuck up. Let's rethink this a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess my thought then is it's going to be this weird dynamic where Picard, I'm going to assume that Soji's going to change her mind and try to help Picard. So you're going to have Picard and Soji, maybe Girardi, basically La Serena, and the Borg Cube and the Romulans.
I think Girardi's team bot.
Maybe, but regardless, that's irrelevant. The what I'm seeing happening is that this La Serena, the Romulans, and the Borg Cube are going to stop the giant teleportation butthole from opening so that the synths from hell don't come and kill everything. And then La Serena and the Borg Cube are going to turn their weapons and their attention towards Romulans and be like, fuck off now, or we're going to kill you. And also, we forgot about Starfleet at Deep Space 12. I bet you last second Admiral Clancy is going to be like, Commodore Oro, what the fuck, you Romulan bitch? And then they're going to shoot her.
Yeah, and, hopefully we get a character from Deep Space Nine leading that armada.
Yes!
Ezri.
I don't know.
Oh
I don't know
God.
if my namesake is the most qualified to lead the armada. Maybe she.
It's been 30 years.
Yeah, maybe in 30 years she went the Counselor Troy route and went into the command program and stuff, and doesn't throw up during space travel anymore. got her pronouns together, and just all right.
I feel like that would be amazing character growth to know that Ezri just turns into this badass
I've come to accept my mirror world self. We are integrated.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so does that mean she's canon lesbian?
That would be great. I don't think Picard forgot about the Armada, or not the Armada, but the squadron. It was only a squadron at Deep Space 12. I think that was kind of part of his thinking. We'll run away. I'll talk to the Federation. We'll hide behind a squadron of Starfleet vessels. We'll fight. We'll do the Disco Season 2 big confrontation at the end, and everything's going to be gravy. I think that was Picard's plan. But yeah, I don't know. The Starfleet from Deep Space 12 might show up, and yeah, I could definitely see them being consequential because you might have all these different forces fighting against the Romulans. But yeah, it's just a squadron is not 200 warbirds, whatever it was.
Well, and also, I don't think Picard forgot about it. I was saying that we forgot about it as a factor. Chekhov's Starfleet Squadron, if you will.
Yeah.
Chekhov's DS-12.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I think that Girardi is going to upload Picard to the Golem because they've made such a big deal of Picard's lethal condition, and I think we're probably going to see Soji intervene on Picard's half and act as the mediator between Team Bot and Team Organic. Because I don't think that Soji is the destroyer. I think it's her cousin who's the destroyer.
Oh, she's so the destroyer. She's 100% got destroyer energy.
She's 100% mirror universe. She's got a little bit of swagger. She's got some seductress energy going on.
She's got that gold paint. Oh, and lest we forget the fuckery at the prison. So what the hell happened there? So Narek is trying to sweet talk poor innocent little Saga that's what's a prison? And Narek's there's water in my bag. Please let me have water. And Saga's what's water? And Sutra stumbles in and is don't fucking Soji stumbles in. And it's don't fucking listen to this guy. This guy's such a creep. Just stop it. You're pathetic. And he's I love you. And she's I know. It's a heartbreaking Han Solo twist though, where she's yeah, but you're gross and pathetic. You still want to kill us all, and you love me. You're weird. Why? Why are you like this?
He really is just the ultimate fuckboy. It's real bad.
And he's such a 4chan chaser. He wants to kill you all, and he's in love with you at the same time. Weird. Anyway, fucking pathetic. So Soji's peace. And Sutra just, sun salutations her way in, and it's like, oh, don't worry about it, Saga. I'll take care of Narek. Then Saga tra-la-las away, and Sutra lets down the force field and is like, it's a good thing it's a good thing my need for your services outweighs my urge to kill you. Need for your services? Next thing we know, poor little Saga had this cute little, bird dipper thing into the water. You know that little bird dipper thing on desks that you see in the Alien series a lot?
Yes.
Well, next thing we know, that thing is lodged in Saga's eye and brain, and she's fucking dead. What happened there? How did we go from Sutra jailbreaking Narek to Narek, who's already eyeing that little thing in her pocket? He's already thinking about killing her. We know this about Narek. All right? He's a malignant fuckboy. How did that bird get in her brain?
I think it had to be Saga, right? Like, this is like, she's doing the Cain and Abel thing here.
Saga's the dead girl.
Or not Saga, Sutra. Yeah.
So it had to be Sutra.
It had to be Sutra. She's doing the Cain and Abel thing. And I think that she's gone, like, full-on combat liberalism, MLM, anything for the cause of the revolution, even comrades may be sacrificed.
We'll fake an assassination to call in the synth fleet.
You know what I thought when I saw that? I thought Sutra created a false flag event. I went the more Alex Jones route.
She did, though. I think she did.
Like, she did create a false flag event.
Like, she didn't bird Saga's brain, but she let Narek bird Saga's brain. She knew it was coming. She
probably told him, like, go kill her and get the fuck out of here. Or maybe she didn't even tell him. Maybe she was, because, like, he would be smart enough to not fall for that. But maybe he's like, Saga, the guy is getting away. Go do something. And of course, he's going to know how to kill her because he's a fucking Zat Vash. And she's just this, hippie, whatever.
Yeah, she's on like 4 quarts of sunshine acid and doesn't know what the hell's happening.
She has no idea.
Poor little boo.
Look, I'm not saying that Narek was right. I'm just saying that she's a hippie. That's all I'm saying.
She's a sweet hippie. She didn't deserve that.
There's no such thing.
Yes, there is. If you know hippies, you'll see the exact same thing that you see in Leninist and other kinds of cults. You see spineless, weak, destroyed followers that just want some guidance, and then you see megalomaniac, crazy assholes who hide behind some, beefed up worldview morality. It's more like anarchist cults, really, because we don't have a cult. Like, but in fact, we hate all things that are like that. So it's much more like anarchists or like, Cultural Revolution Maoists. There's a lot of bleed there. But anyway, like, it's the same kind of stuff. Saga's just a lost little girl, Sutra's Charlie Manson.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because we brought up before that like the Borg were modeled on cults. And this is like the very Californian version of the cult, not the Borg type of cult. Whereas the XBs have passed through that dialectic negativity and are now forming the true leftcom collective.
Yeah. They're defending the invariant program. They read the 1844 stuff on Marx, but are like, yeah, but we shouldn't get rid of all tenets of Marxist organization. But all right, I guess we shouldn't be cults.
We can mind link a little sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a little mind leak as a treat. It's fine.
So they're like lowercase Marxist humanists, not uppercase Marxist humanists.
Yeah, because uppercase Marxist humanists have direct mind leaks all the time.
Yeah, especially when it comes to value theory and electoral politics.
Oh, fucking God.
God, I'm gonna get Marxist humanist agents knocking at my door. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So we got Cult v Cult coming up. Post leftcom, like communizer, ex-Borg, non-binary, collective stuff, which is like all the angry cult burnouts whose parents were like hippies and Leninists and anarchists and indie rock musicians and are fucking pissed. And then we have, nice crunchy flower children led by sexy Charlie Manson bot. And then we have big synth force. We've got the Jat Vash come in. We've got the Federation. This is a very complex conflict that we have coming. And frankly, I could speculate, but I'm just excited to see where this goes. We had a nice meandering sort of beginning to the series. Now we've got a lot packed into the end. I'm wondering how they're going to handle that in the next episode. I'm guessing it's going to be like an hour or so, What do you think?
I'd honestly be okay with it being 2 hours because we've got less episodes this season than we've got in Disco Season 1 or Season 2. To hack on an extra hour, I'm going to count that as 11 episodes. They just didn't want to break this episode up into a 3-parter. So, or at least make it a feature film. Give us an hour and a half. Give us 10.5 episodes. I'm down. I'm down for the cause.
I would love that, but I sincerely doubt that they're going to do that.
I doubt it too, but I hope. Okay.
They can always go with the cliffhanger route, right? Semi-resolve this situation.
That's exactly what I expect. They already have like another season in the works, basically. Hopefully, Sir Patrick Stewart is keeping himself prime and in mint condition, so he can keep Picarding it up for as many seasons as we need for closure.
Dear coronavirus gods, kill all boomers except Patrick Stewart.
Esri does not endorse this message. I endorse the last part. Dear Corona, goddess of contagion, please don't kill Patrick Stewart. That's fine. Or at least wait till the golem is ready so that we can transfer his consciousness into the golem. Now, the only thing about that is that the golem better also be played by Patrick Stewart, because otherwise, if that thing happens, Kyle, I also feel it coming. You could have Picard played by someone else, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like
I don't think it can be done. I think it's
don't feel right.
Such an established role, and Picard does not have a symbiote, so
right. Yeah, you can't just kill him off randomly and then just throw another character there for no reason.
Be like, I am also Picard.
Well, I mean, that's so dumb.
Yeah, Picard is Picard. Like Patrick Stewart is basically Picard. Have you all seen this is kind of an aside, but have you all seen the YouTube ads coming out while the show was running for I can't remember, one of the pro-immigration groups?
Oh yes, yeah.
Patrick Stewart comes on as like, this terrible thing is happening at the border, and I'm just like, dude, like you said the same shit as Picard about Romulans, basically. Like
Picard, they didn't listen then, they're not gonna listen now.
It's true.
Get the left comms together and let's fucking do this shit.
It's true, but the point I'm getting at here is that like Patrick Stewart is Picard. Like it's basically canon.
Well, Patrick Stewart, call your old friends and visit your surrogate sons. Jeez.
True.
I'm sure he's on top of that.
Yeah, but
I bet you Patrick Stewart's better than Picard in some ways, and that's one of
yeah,
them.
yeah. I would hope
Yeah,
so.
I mean, the show is very self-aware, right?
Mm-hmm.
This show is, and I think that there's no doubt that Stewart had some influence on the writing of his character because he did get one of what is it, 4 executive producer credits on
Yeah.
the show.
Probably contractual for him to come back. Look, I need a little input onto my character. I don't want to be in a Mark Hamill situation.
Yeah, that's smart. I also think maybe he did fuck up in this way. You know, maybe he did just get so into his own. Patrick Stewart got so much into his own ass that he wasn't staying in touch with people and just kind of a old man in or about. You know, maybe this is pulled from experience.
That's kind of the vibe I was getting, because if you have the opportunity to executive produce the return of your beloved character, why not have him coming in on riding in on his high horse? Why knock him down so many pegs so many times? He's trying to say something about, great men and ego.
Yeah, I mean, he spent most of his time in recent years as a political activist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that does definitely feature into the way that Picard is presented here. And the question of like a quiet retirement and how that's actually like when people need you, you can't do that and expect to come out with a clean conscience. I think that all kind of, comes together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're at about an hour. How do we feel? Do we have anything else that we should have touched
Just
on?
like final thoughts on the episode,
do we miss anything important? Final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we see Picard dealing with mortality and dealing with emotions a lot in this episode, like his scene with Rafi, where it's like he just can't be that emotionally open, and it's really upsetting for him. And like, it's not the dying that's upsetting him. It's like dealing with other people's grief is the thing that he can't handle. And so we do see like some sweet scenes like with Elnor, right, in this episode of Picard. Lots of like it seems like their relationship has kind of like progressed a little bit past where like we saw initially where it was really toxic. But Picard is still Picard. We saw like the lib speech. We saw his inability to just do a group hug with his friends when he announces his terminal illness. We see his inability to process Rafi's affection and grief. And so, yeah, I think that that's a whole dimension of this episode in terms of that character development as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that. I think we'd be remiss to not talk about that scene in particular between Rafi and Picard. And it seems like Elnor's and Picard's relationship has progressed, but so has Rafi and Picard's. And it seems like it was unclear until that scene, to me, it was unclear until that scene that Rafi ever truly forgave Picard. And I think in that moment, she does. And I think maybe part of it, too, is that he doesn't want to be let off the hook in some ways. And he's trying to, like, make good in all of his, like, faults that in the past, like, 30 years or 20 years or whatever. So he doesn't want people to be, like, forgiving of him because he's dying. He wants to try to, like, correct these things, And I think I mean, I'm projecting a lot, but I think if that was the character motivation there, I think that's wise, because I think this forgiveness from Rafi would ring hollow if it was earned only because he was dying, you know? But there's also just the fact that, like, he's kind of android-like in his own way, in the way he can't process emotions, and that's something he's going to have to overcome, I think. And he'll have a whole lot more time if he's a golem, but we'll see. Also, if it's going to be Patrick Stewart, that means they're going to have to age up the golem and make the golem basically unable to run, unless they're going to use CGI Picard sometimes.
Yeah.
I expected molds to like exactly replicate the person that it was modeled on.
Okay.
Yeah. All possible. None of the because we don't know exactly how this golem shit works. Mind transfer in that way is not really established. The closest thing is that you could store someone's matter data in the pattern buffer of the transporter or something. Like,
we did have that episode with Data's mom, who that was a successful mind transfer.
Oh, okay. So it's assumed family secret, like so much.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the only case you ever get in Star Trek, as far as I'm aware.
Damn.
Soon Cybernetics, a family company.
Yeah. Don't listen to what the government says about us.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Yeah. Y'all basically captured my feelings about the Raffi scene. It takes Picard a while to say "I love you" back to Raffi, but he says it because it's fucking true. And then he kind of like wanders away because he can't handle it. And that's all I got to say.
And I mean, we've talked about this before on the show with the Homecoming episodes, upcoming Homecoming episodes for the listeners. But dealing with sort of like toxic masculinity and mortality, right? Like, not being able to be like emotionally available to the people around you when you're dying because of your masculinity is, I think, another part of like what this show is talking about, and trying to present, like, we saw in DS9 that it's presented as like, hey, this is a problem, like you need to take care of your health, etc., with Papa Cisco or Grandpa Cisco. But with Picard, it's like there is no such option. But you got to get beyond those emotional defense mechanisms and be real with the people around you. So it's a good message for all those boomers out there who are in Patrick Stewart's age group. Yeah.
Yeah, if you gotta die, at least share your feelings with your damn children.
Yeah, for real.
Well, we're about an hour 10. Want to sign off? We had a couple comments, one from Mohammed Jamal and the other from Yasin Ojdi. Oh, that's a pretty name. Ojdi, which is, her comment is top with heart eyes. So I don't know whose top it is. Whether it's mine, Sophie's, or Kyle's, potentially. Not sure.
Or it could be referring to a sexual top.
I mean, just
possibly referring to Mirror Universe Ezri.
Potentially. I guess between her and Lita, I'd guess the Mirror Lita, I'd put her on top, I guess.
Yeah, Mirror Universe Ezri is definitely a top. Are you kidding me?
For sure.
Tops wear leather jackets. It's just fact.
I need a leather jacket. All right. Well, maybe they're referring to my energy and steering this discussion, and it's coming to a close. Thanks for watching, everybody. And hey, at an Arcadia Ego 2, we'll see you next week. Bye.